Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to learn easy way to create a GitHub repository using GitHub Desktop. So we are going to do two things. One is create a new repository on GitHub using GitHub Desktop. And then second, if you already have a repository and the hierarchy is not correct or you want to make some changes to fix it, we will see that also. So GitHub Desktop is an easier way if you don't want to run GitHub commands on the command prompt. And for those who don't know, some of the uh, who don't know how to work with the command prompt. So the first thing is go to the browser and download and install GitHub Desktop. It will look something like this. The window I have already opened. So now the first thing is we are going to create a repository. I hope you already have a GitHub account. So once you install it, log in to your GitHub account. I am already logged in. But once you start the application, it will ask you, and you can log into the GitHub account using your email address and password. Once you do that, we can continue from here. So I have created this location where we are going to do this tutorial or the lecture. So let's go back to GitHub Desktop, go to File and say New Repository. In the new repository, let's say I say test repo, and then the location is here. I want to work here, so I am going to give this location. You can give some description, but just let's keep it simple and say create repository. So when you create repository, you will see on that location, you will see a test repo created. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is, the first thing is we will say publish this repository. So publish, and it will go to your GitHub account. Once the repository is published, go to your browser and in your GitHub repositories, refresh, and you will see a test repo. If you go inside, you will see nothing. So now let's come back and try to create something inside this repo. So what you are going to do is, so then that repo is actually a copy of whatever you do in the file, your Windows Explorer. So let's say we create something. Week 1, week 2. In week 1, let's say we create a file. We say first program.java. And then in week 2, I create, let's say, .java. Okay. Now come back to GitHub Desktop and you will see it will tell you that you made 2 changes. So here, write something. Let's say in the description, I say created week 1 and week 2 programs and say commit. Once you commit, you need to push. So once you push, these changes will reflect in your GitHub repo. So we did the push. Go back to your repository and if you go inside your test repo, you will see all your changes. See, your this one, go back, you see this. So this way you keep on making changes on inside your Windows Explorer, and those will be reflected in your GitHub repo. So let's say I make another change, I add another program, and I say another program dot Java. Okay, go back and it will show you that you made another change. So you write some comment, push. And again, go back to your repositories and go to your test repo. You go inside week 2 and you will see your another program.java. All right. But it's just not the files you create. Even if you do any change, so let's say I open this and write something. Okay, save it, go back to your so what I did is I just wrote this line in this file, and it is telling me that I added this line. So then again I can do a commit and push. So let's go back to our test repo. And open my, see, now we see this. So that's how you keep on working on your system, keep pushing from here, and whatever you do, that will be reflected on the GitHub. So the idea is you make changes locally and then you push on GitHub. That's the best flow. Don't try to do the other way, like making changes on GitHub. Then there will be a mismatch between your local changes and your GitHub account changes. Then it will be, that can be fixed, but for a beginner, it will be not easy to figure out what's happening, because then you will have two different changes, a local change as well as the remote change. So the best way is going one way. Always go from your local system to the GitHub. Now let's say you have this repository and you don't like it. Let's say you did something. Let's say you said, I want to make some change. Week 2 should not be there. I want it to be week 2 work. So just make this change here. Week 2 work. Go to your GitHub. It will tell you that week 2 has gone. So if you see the first two, it is telling that week 2 folder is gone and a new folder has come up, week 2 work. So it is just doing everything for you. You don't have to do anything. Just write some comment here and commit and then push. So if you go back to your repository, you will see that change. See, week 2 work. So that way, whatever you want to do, just make the exact hierarchy on your local system. Just make the exact hierarchy on the local system, commit and push, and that will be reflected on your GitHub. Let's say you created a couple of files here, which you actually wanted inside week 2. File1.java, file2.java. Let's say you did this and you are not sure what to do. These should be, so file1 should be inside week 1. So what you do, just make the local hierarchy exactly what the way you want. Done. And let's say file2 was created here, but it should be inside week 3 folder. So week 3, file2 will go here. Now if you're happy with the hierarchy, go back to your GitHub Desktop. It will tell you whatever changes were done. Just do a commit, push, go back to your repository in the browser, go inside and see. So this GitHub repository, the remote one which you are seeing in the browser, is exactly a copy of what you do on your local, system. So this is, and this one is exact copy. This one and the one in the browser is exact copy. So that's how you will create your repository. If you have already done, but the hierarchy is not correct, you can fix it this way. And lastly, so let's say we saw that how to create a new repository, but let's say you already have a repository working and you want to fix it. So what you are going to do is, let's go back where, so there is no repository here locally, but the repository exists on GitHub. So the only thing you will do is go back to your GitHub Desktop, and instead of saying new repository, you will say clone repository. So for clone, what you do is you will refresh and then start typing, and it will show you your test repo. You click it where you want to clone it. So you will give this path, and you will say just clone, and everything will come back to your local here. And then you can just make changes the way we discussed already and keep committing and pushing, and those will be reflected to the GitHub. So that's how you are going to create a new repository or fix any already existing repositories and continue working on your assignments. That's all I wanted to show. Thanks for watching, and I hope it was helpful for you.